Hello, comic book community. The Joker here with another episode of 360 Comics. Just kidding. It's regular old Joe here with 360 Comics. Imagine if I did that for the whole video. How many subscribers would I lose? I don't know. Anyway, happy Halloween. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did because I went down to Baltimore Comic Con and I hung out with some awesome people, met some new people, and even picked up some crazy comic books that I'm going to show you today, so stay tuned. In honor of both Halloween and this character's recent introduction into the MCU, we've got this week's weekly giveaway prize, Man-Thing number 11, the last issue of the run. If you want to win this, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up for a like, and leave a comment down below. And you can also get additional entries by liking and commenting on our other videos from this week. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so that you know when new videos are dropping. Good luck. Good morning, Baltimore! And hi, Alex. How you doing? This is Baltimore Comic Con, probably about 2 hours before the doors open to the general public. All the vendors are setting up. Artists are getting ready to do their signings and sketches. Things were moving at this point on the first day, but, wasn't open yet, so this was pretty empty, and it filled in very, very quickly as soon as the doors opened. I wish that I had more clips for this video, but unfortunately I was only at the convention for one day, and I wanted to make the most out of it by hanging out with members of the community and hunting for comic books, so I didn't film very much. Sorry about that, but I do have a great haul, so let's get into it. This first group of comics came from one dealer, and specifically a toy dealer, not a comic dealer. I noticed that, they had this huge booth of toys and only 3 long boxes of comics, and I thought to myself, as I usually do in this situation, maybe they're willing to let that stuff go a little bit cheaper and kind of just keep it moving because that is not their main focus. And that was the case here. This person had a ton of X-Men and Amazing Spider-Man dating back to the Silver Age, mostly silver and bronze stuff with a little bit of copper and modern, as you will see. We're going to start off with some X-Men starting at issue 238. We're going to go backwards from there. We've got the second appearance and first cover appearance of Mr. Sinister. I think this is a really underrated book, so I grabbed it and put it in the pile, and I worked out a really, really great deal with this guy. Next, we got X-Men number 222. Absolutely classic cover featuring Wolverine and Sabretooth. This isn't their first battle, but it's definitely one of the best covers of their early battles. Then we've got X-Men number 126. We're going back to the Bronze Age here. This is the first appearance of Proteus, I believe in cameo in this one, and 127 is the first full appearance, and it is a really, really nice sharp copy. Honestly, it might be 9.0 plus, might be worth getting graded, because that would be, over $100 if it does at least get a 9.0. Then we've got X-Men number 112. This is a classic George Perez cover. Might be one of his only covers on Claremont X-Men, because almost all this stuff was Dave Cockrum and then John Byrne. But yeah, Perez cover, really awesome one with, Wolverine, Magneto, and the other X-Men. Just great, great, great Perez artwork. And again, very high grade. Now, speaking of high grade, this book is quite possibly a contender for that 9.8. I'm not even kidding. This book is really, really sharp. There is a little bit of tanning on it, so I'm worried that will knock it down a little bit. It is very, very slight, but they are harsh on tanning over at CGC. Nonetheless, I think this is definitely a book worth grading. It is certainly a 9.0 plus. I think probably would get the 9.6, maybe 9.4, and might even get that 9.8. So this one is definitely going in. And again, a really, really awesome cover. This one by Dave Cockrum. Then we're going back to the Silver Age, the only Silver Age X-Men book that I picked up, issue number 22. We're talking about the early double-digit X-Men, mid-1960s. Look at that red cover. Definitely pops. It's got some spine wear and stuff, but other than that, really, really nice copy. I believe this will be an upgrade to the personal collection. I do have this book already, but I think mine is really, really low grade, and this one is going to be a little bit nicer than that. Moving on to the Amazing Spider-Man stuff, you know I had to grab this. I've talked about these second printings from the late 80s, early 90s in a recent video, and I've been picking them up. This one is Amazing Spider-Man number 362, the second appearance of Carnage, and this is the second printing, and you can tell it is by the silver background that it has instead of the regular yellow background. This is a lot more rare than that first printing. Maybe it's not as coveted, but it is definitely more rare. There was certainly a lower print run. You see the first printings all the time. It's not a very uncommon book. This one is definitely more scarce, but then again, it is not like a super scarce book or anything like that. I don't want you to spend $1 million on this. Always be careful and do some research before you buy things. Then we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 360, the first cameo appearance of Carnage. This is kind of an underrated book in my opinion, and we got a high-grade newsstand here. Definitely had to pick that one up. And speaking of Carnage, this is issue number 344. It's the second appearance of Cletus Cassidy, and it is the issue where he is infected with the Carnage symbiote. So it leads on to many issues later. Actually, 15 issues later is that last book where we finally get that cameo of Carnage, and then eventually his full appearance in 361. Going back to the McFarlane era, we got this classic ASM cover featuring Captain America. Definitely a cool one, especially with that McFarlane signing coming up. We got number 317. This is the fourth appearance of Venom. Great cover as well, again by Todd McFarlane, and some even more McFarlane stuff to come. We've got what I call the most underrated McFarlane cover, and one of the most underrated comic book covers ever. ASM number 312. This one features Hobgoblin and Green Goblin on the front, and I'm trying to think. This might be one of the first, or maybe even the first, cover appearance of both of them together. I gotta actually look back. You would think there would have been one in the 80s, but off the top of my head, I cannot think of a cover that they are both on until this one. Gonna do some research on that, and I will update you once I figure that one out. And if you know, maybe you can let me know in the comments down below. Then we got this Action Comics number 1 homage cover, again by McFarlane. And going down pre-McFarlane into the 200s, Amazing Spider-Man number 200, 265, first appearance of Silver Sable, and this is the second printing with that, again, silver background. That's something they were doing in the late 80s, early 90s with either silver or gold backgrounds. Going back even further to the low 200s, back into the Bronze Age, Amazing Spider-Man number 212, first appearance of Hydro Man. This, in my opinion, is an underrated, undervalued book. It's a pretty prominent character in Spider-Man lore, and one that they really haven't utilized. So I really think that this is a good pickup. I have had it in a spec video, and I own a bunch of copies myself. This one of the biggest books in this bundle right here. We got the Amazing Spider-Man number 210, first appearance of Madam Web. This is a sharp copy. I think it's probably like a 9092. Might get it graded, might end up just selling it raw. I'm not sure. I got to compare it to my personal collection copy and see which one is better. I think the one that I have is better though, so this one might end up going up for sale. Then we're going back to issue number 134. This is the second. It's the second appearance of Punisher, but it's in a cameo. He has true full second appearance is the next issue, and he's on the cover. But he is in this in cameo form. But it's also the first appearance of Tarantula, and he's on the cover. Such a great one from this early Bronze Age, a nice 25 center. Was very surprised to find this book marked so cheap. I can't remember I think the price was $30. And remember, all this stuff got bundled together, and I got a really, really good deal on all of it. So, the value is certainly there in this haul. This guy, again, was a toy dealer that just wanted to kind of move this stuff and had it for, price to sell. Then we got Amazing Spider-Man number 124, and I think this was the most undervalued of all the books that were there. I think this one was marked at like $40 or something like that, and it is sharp. This is the first appearance of Man-Wolf, who is again on the cover. You gotta love it when a first appearance character ends up on the cover of their own book. Sharp copy. Gotta check again with my personal collection. A lot of these might end up being upgrades. We'll have to wait and see. Then we got the first meeting of Spider-Man and Luke Cage in issue number 123. Going back, there was no 120, 122 or 121, Death of Green Goblin and Death of Gwen Stacy. He actually did have those, but they were up on the wall, and his wall books were certainly more like fair market value, whereas the stuff in the bins seemed to be priced to move. So this is the second book of the Hulk crossover, and of course in there as well was the first book of the Hulk crossover. This collection seemed to be rather complete. He said there were a couple things missing. There was no 129, but there was a 300. Again, that was a wall book, and it was a decent price, but it wasn't a price that I really wanted to pay for it because I have it already. I was looking for the deals. Anyway, going back into the double digits, Amazing Spider-Man number 99, and again, I think this is going to upgrade my personal collection copy. We got number 95 where he's in London. Definitely a really classic cover and a plot point that, has been used before. And Amazing Spider-Man number 94, the issue before that, we're like late Silver Age. Some people consider this early Bronze. I still call it late Silver. We got a early Prowler appearance. I think this would be his third appearance if I'm not mistaken. We've got first meeting of Iceman and Spider-Man. Pretty cool, given that they had that Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends television show back in the, late 70s or early 80s. Issue number 88, we got Dr. Octopus appearance, and I always thought it was cool that this is 88 and Dr. Octopus makes an appearance. I wonder if that was intentional or not. Might have been. Anyway, ASM number 87. This was one I did not have in my PC yet, so that is a great addition and a sharp copy as well. This is a pretty important book right here, issue number 86. This is the first time that Black Widow is seen in her classic costume, her all black skin-tight suit. Before that, she had kind of like a purpley suit that she wore, but this is the costume that we even see her in the MCU, to today. Then we've got ASM number 80. This is definitely upgrade to my personal collection because I have this book and it is super beat. So that one's going to be up for sale eventually once I actually go through this stuff and catalog it all. Then we got number 77, Human Torch appearance. Really, really great cover by Romita there. Gotta love it. Same with this cover. This is just such a classic. Death Without Warning, ASM number 75. And then we got one of my favorite covers of all time. Definitely my favorite Mysterio cover. And Mysterio is my favorite Spider-Man villain. Number 66, John Romita, classic cover. This is sharp as can be. I'm not talking like 9.8. It's not going to get 9.8. Let's be real. It's a Silver Age Spidey, but I'm talking this is high grade for sure. 8.5, 9.0, 9.2. Any of those grades I'd be happy with. Definitely going to see what comes out in pressing and cleaning because there are a couple little marks on there, but this one is going to CGC. Absolutely, 100%. No denying that. Issue number 58 next. Again, a really sharp copy, but does have like a little tear on the side here. If that wasn't there, this would be really super nice, but nonetheless, with that black bordered cover, usually you see a lot of color breaks and stuff like that. Not on this book. And the very last ASM book in this bundle right here, this is ASM number 21. I think this might have been the Beatles' second appearance. I forget exactly. But, really early ASM. This was probably like, 1965? Maybe probably 1965. So this is some early ASM. Ditko is still doing the artwork. Really, really great stuff from this dealer. No complaints about his prices in general. And I got a little bit shaved off the top. So, I think I really made out there. Upgrades to the personal collection, new books that I didn't have before, going into the personal collection, and definitely some stuff to sell
if it doesn't make the cut. Now, this one, shout out to my friend Brittany, because she said she saw this and she said it was a good price. And I went and picked it up because I didn't have this book. This is showcase number 59. And this is the first full appearance of the full group of the Teen Titans with Wonder Girl. Prior to this, they do appear just Robin, Aqualad, and Kid Flash. This is their first appearance with Wonder Girl. It's low grade, but it was only $10. I'm not gonna pass up on like a Silver Age key just because it's low grade. For $10, it does have some like rust on the staple, but this is a great reader copy of this book. And for right now, it's staying in the personal collection unless I eventually end up upgrading it. Next two, we got two slabs here before we get into the Golden Age stuff, and there's some nice Golden Age stuff. This is Venom #1 from 2011. I believe this was the first ongoing Venom run. He had a ton of miniseries before this, but I think this was first ongoing, if I'm not mistaken. Rick Remender, I think, was the writer. Yeah, Rick Remender. Oh, we got Tony Moore art as well. Really cool stuff. 9.8. Can't go wrong with that. I paid $50 for this. One of the guys had cheap slabs. They were 60 a piece or 2 for $100. So I bundled this together with another slab. Got them 2 for $100, so 50 a piece. Captain America number 323, right? What is this? 323. This is not only the 50th anniversary border, or 25th anniversary border. I'm just getting my numbers all mixed up. It's also the first appearance of John Walker as Super Patriot. We've seen that happen in the MCU. A 9.4 for a early 80s, mid 80s, 1986. Definitely a respectable grade there, and for just $50, seemed like a no-brainer. Last but not least, I got a really, really awesome bundle of Golden Age books from one dealer, and I am extremely surprised with the price that I was able to pick these up for. Very happy with it because some of the stuff is staying with me in my personal collection. Other stuff I'm going to have available for sale at some point. But let's kick it off with this astonishing number 63. This is the final book of the run. This was put out by Atlas Comics, which shortly thereafter would become Marvel Comics. This was 1957, and I'm not sure when the name actually officially changed over, but it had to be shortly after this. And yeah, just a great Golden Age kind of like horror-y, sci-fi mystery run. Some pretty cool stuff. And I have a couple issues in this run already, so I was happy to pick this up for a really good price in a respectable 4.0 for a book that's, 60, 70 years old almost. Then we're moving on to this one right here, Crown Comics number... What is this? Number 16 from 1949. We're going back to the 1940s. This one, nothing super special about this book. Is this a Matt Baker cover? This actually might be a Matt Baker cover. I gotta do some research on this. But nonetheless, it is a book from the 40s that is in rather good shape. And it's low grade, it's missing a chunk right there and stuff, but it's not falling apart or anything like that. Staples are firmly intact. The cover colors look really, really nice, so I'm happy to have that as part of this bundle. This ended up being just one of the the throw-ins at the end. Same thing with this book right here, but this one actually has some pretty nice significance. This is The Outlaws number 14, and it is an L.B. Cole cover. L.B. Cole being a very popular Golden Age artist, mostly for his sci-fi stuff, but, we got, some Western right here that he worked on, and he kind of, dipped his toes into all the genres of the Golden Age, and, again, was very popular. You can usually find his signature on the cover of his book, so definitely look out for that. Then we've got, this one is really cool. Love the cover. Weird Tales of the Future number, I think there's no number on this. If I remember correctly, I think it was number 6 or 8. It was a double or a single digit number. But 1953 sci-fi black cover, really, really bright title here. Now the spine is split on this one, but nonetheless, this presents exceptionally well for a book from 1953. In fact, next year, this book will be 70 years old. That is crazy. Awesome sci-fi cover. Not sure if I'm keeping this one or if this is one I'm going to eventually sell, but, it looks freaking cool. Then we got the oldest book, and I actually made a mistake. I made an Instagram post saying that a different book that I'm going to show you in a minute is the oldest book. This one's actually a couple months older. This is from July of 1940. Yeah, you heard me right, 1940. This book is over 82 years old at this point. War Comics number 3. This is only a 4-issue run, so if you're into, war-related comics and you're looking to collect a Golden Age run, this might be the one for you. Think about it. It's only 4 issues. It's not too hard to, come across all of them at some point and pick them up. And they're reasonably affordable as well for being as old as they are. This one has staples added, and it's got some tape on the cover, so definitely a great entry-level copy. I probably will take those staples out. It doesn't really seem like they need them, especially given that there's the tape holding things together. But nonetheless, really great airplane cover, little sky combat going on there. I'm not super into war stuff myself, so this is probably one that is going to end up selling at some point in order to fund some other purchases. Then we're moving on to the stuff that I really like. We got some Golden Age Batman here, Detective Comics number 203, featuring Catwoman on the cover, as well as Robin, of course. Bright cover. All the colors look amazing, and it's not in bad shape, but it does have a detached cover. Honestly, if the cover wasn't detached on this would probably be like a 4.0, 4.5, maybe. I don't think it would be a 5.0. It's got some writing and stuff up there. So 4.0, 4.5 if the cover was attached. Unfortunately, the detachment does bring it down. I'm not really sure how much, maybe like a full grade point. So maybe this is like a 3.0, 3.5. Got to do a little bit more research on that because I'm not super familiar with how badly that affects the grade of a book. But nonetheless, this is complete and again, presents beautifully. I kind of hate that term because people use it like way too much, but this book really does present very, very nicely for a book from its time. Then we got an even older Detective Comics book, issue number 111. Look at that, 1940s goodness. Can't go wrong with that old, really wide book from the Golden Age with that big Detective Comics trade dress. Really, really love that. The red, the yellow, it's a little bit dingy, I would call this. Maybe could use a clean. Gonna kind of see what will come off and what is just discoloration over time. But this book is beautiful. Definitely staying in the personal collection. Not getting rid of this, and might get it slabbed up. Not really sure. It does have an extra staple up top right there, and I think there's a second one down at the bottom, but they don't seem to be necessary. The other staples looked intact, so what I have to think is that someone just put 2 staples in for reinforcement to make sure that their book didn't fall apart, but in reality it didn't need it. But yeah, might take them out. Anyway, this book I already posted on Instagram, so if you saw it, I apologize, you're seeing double, and I'm gonna move some of these real quick first. But yep, Instagram already saw it. I thought at the time that this was the oldest book, but I didn't realize that War book was from a couple months earlier than this. This is Action Comics number 31. Yeah, you heard me right, 31. At this point, this would be, that War Books is the second oldest book that I own. So this is now the third oldest comic book that I own. And early Superman, got a really cool cover. The yellows are still bright. The colors look amazing. It is obviously missing pieces. Not only is it missing, a corner here and a corner down here, it's also missing the entire back cover. The front cover is detached, and, it's just overall in low grade. But this is a piece of comic book history. I did not mind, and specifically, I think I got this book for a very, very nice price. You can give your opinions in the chat. This one, the way we worked it out, this one actually came out to I was getting this for about $140. I was kind of like turning this down because of the price they were asking on it. And I ended up talking them way down from where they were and adding this to the pile for only $140. I think that is a good price, even given that it is missing that back cover, has chunks of the front cover missing, and it's just a mangled book. It's such an old piece of history, so scarce, so hard to find. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this because I don't collect Superman stuff. It is not my thing. That being said, it is just so old and such a piece of history. I might end up keeping it. I don't know. We're gonna wait and see. I'm gonna think on this one. I don't need to move it ASAP or anything. So anyway, on to the last book. You saw this one in the thumbnail and the beginning of the video. This is definitely my prized possession from the day. Certainly the most expensive book that I picked up over the weekend, and definitely one that I am not getting rid of anytime soon unless I were to upgrade, which is very difficult to do because this book is expensive. I was able to secure this copy for a very reasonable price because it is missing this corner of the book. I'm not sure how much this would affect it. Would this take it all the way down to a 0.5 because it is missing so much? Or would the decent looking rest of the book, because it is all intact and complete and everything, would that take this above that 0.5, maybe to a 1.0, 1.5? I'm not really sure. I don't know how badly that much of the cover will affect grading. Fortunately, something that I really like about it, the trade dress is still there. We're only missing like the corner where I think we're missing like the date and some of like the title and the advertisement words. We're not missing any of the picture on the cover. We got Batman, we got Robin, Two-Face, his coin. We've got the entire trade dress. We have Batman number 50 written at the top. This book is from, what was it? I think it was 1943, if I remember correctly. Or no, 48. This would have been the late 40s. I forget the exact year. I want to say it's 1948. Now, I haven't done a lot of research. I think this might be the fourth appearance of Two-Face. I might be wrong about that. Maybe you can let me know in the chat. Key Collector, unfortunately, only lists his first and second appearance. But I did find a third appearance that is listed that came out prior to this. And then all subsequent appearances seem to be from after this issue came out. So maybe there's something else in there that I'm missing, but this was the second time they utilized this character in Batman comics. Well, first he was in Detective Comics, so I think this might be the fourth appearance. If you know, please give me that information in the chat down below in the comments. Otherwise I will certainly do the research myself and kind of figure out. Again, this is staying PC. I am going to get it graded because not only does grading tell you exactly like the condition and whatnot, it also protects and preserves the book. Very, very important. And I think a lot of people forget about that and don't think about that. But that is a very important aspect, especially when it comes to the older books. Silver Age, especially Golden Age. Paper is not meant to last forever. Let's preserve the life of this paper by taking care of it in a way that is beneficial to the longevity of these amazing pieces of history that we all love and collect. So that's my 2 cents on it. If you're not into grading books, that is perfectly fine. I never will knock on anyone for collecting raws or collecting slabs and whatever. But yeah, this one's getting put in a case for sure. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. It was a really, really fun time. I wish I had been there for more than just one day, but hey, it is what it is. But definitely looking forward to, the upcoming events that I have. For those of you who don't know, next weekend, or rather this coming weekend on November 5th in Holmdel, New Jersey, is Super Jersey Comic Expo. I will be set up there as a vendor, and I have a table right near the great Jim Steranko. So come by and see me if you're in the area. That's Holmdel, New Jersey, this Saturday, November 5th. And you can look up the information for Super Jersey Comic Expo. Just Google it. And then I believe sometime in November, I'm thinking I'm actually going to do it the third weekend, which is Saturday the 19th. That will likely be the date of my Back Deck Comic Fest. For those of you who came to the first one, come on back. For those of you who weren't able to make the first one, hope you can make it. I'll be posting a firm date and time when I have that information, hopefully this week sometime. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of me babbling. Thank you for watching. Have a happy Halloween. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.